I'm J.R. Church. Welcome again to today's analysis of the news. Yesterday, we talked to you about the book of Enoch and his visit to the place where the tree of life grows. He was not allowed to eat of that tree, of course, at that time. Perhaps by now he has. I don't know. He was translated, He never saw death. So perhaps he was allowed to eat of the tree of life. Well, in chapter 26 of the book of Enoch, he travels with the angels in some kind of celestial vehicle to the middle of the earth, not down near the core of the earth, but in the middle of the landmass, to a place blessed and fruitful, where there were branches which rooted and sprouted out of a tree that was cut. Now, we've got a metaphor here. We've got a tree that was cut and branches going from it. And he said, I saw a holy mountain, and beneath the mountain toward the east, water which flowed toward the south. Now, you know what he's describing here, don't you? Even though no settlement was there and no name was attached to the place at that time, it was still a holy mountain. It is the city of Jerusalem. It is the Temple Mount. So he goes to the middle of the earth, to Jerusalem, which was called by the rabbis the navel of the earth, and called in the Bible the middle of the earth. Well, here he says he sees this holy mountain, the Temple Mount, and then the brook Kedron, which runs down through the valley on the east, just off down in the valley beneath the eastern gate, today's eastern gate. And he said the water flowed toward the south. Then he said, I saw toward the east another mountain. That would be the Mount of Olives, of the same height, and between them a deep valley. That would be the Kedron Valley, of course, but not broad. Therein also water flowed along the mountain, the Kedron River. And toward the west of this was another mountain. So looking to the west from the Temple Mount was another mountain. That would be just this side of the Joppa Gate. And this would be, shall we say, Upper Jerusalem. And he says that between them was a valley. And he said, by the way, this other mountain, lower than the former, not high, and beneath them a valley, and other deep and sterile valleys were at the end of the three. So here we have the three mountains, and down to the south end of them is a sterile valley. In fact, he calls it later a cursed valley. So deep and sterile valleys were at the end of the three, and all the valleys were deep and not broad, of hard rock, and trees were planted upon them. And I was astonished on account of the rocks, and astonished on account of the valley, and I was very, very astonished. So what we've got here is his going to the city of Jerusalem before there was a city of Jerusalem, before there were any humans settled there at all. And he saw the Temple Mount, the Mount of Olives, and to the west, Upper Jerusalem, and he saw the valleys, the Kedron Valley, the Tyropoeon Valley, and down at the base of them both, at the foot of the three mountains, was this Gehenna Valley. So in chapter 27, he says, for what purpose is this blessed land, which is entirely filled with trees, in this cursed valley between them? Then answered Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said to me, this cursed valley is for those who will be cursed to eternity. And here will be assembled all those who have spoken with their mouths unseemly words against God, and speak insolently of his glory. Here they will be assembled, and here will be their judgment. So this Gehenna Valley was known even before the days of Noah's flood, written by the man who visited there in the company of angels, Enoch. This valley is first mentioned in Joshua chapter 15 and verse 8, where it is called the Valley of the Son of Hinnom. And, of course, it was also called the Valley of the Giants. That would be in Joshua 15, verse 8. Listen to it. And the border went up by the valley of the son of Hinnom unto the south of the Jebusite, the same as Jerusalem. And the border went up to the top of the mountain that lieth before the valley of Hinnom westward, which is at the end of the valley of the giants northward. So, this valley, which was known as the Valley of the Sons of Hinnom, was also known as the Valley of the Giants. Now, I don't know if the sons of Hinnom were Rephaim or not, that is, offspring of the Nephilim, the fallen angels. It is entirely possible that they were. This valley became known as the Valley of the Giants. And, of course, if you recall, in Bible days, there used to be a giant statue of the god Molech, a giant, I suppose, one of the Rephaim, and people would burn their children in the lap of Molech, sacrificing them to the gods of idolatry. And we are told in 2 Chronicles 28, 1 through 3, that when Ahaz was 20 years old, he began to reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and he did not that which was right in the sight of the Lord, like David his father, but he walked in the ways of the kings of Israel and made molten images for Baal. Moreover, he burnt incense in the valley of the son of Hinnom and burned his children in the fire. Yeah, this was a Jewish king, can you imagine? After the abomination of the heathen, whom the Lord had cast out before the children of Israel. And then Jesus knew about this mountain. He talked about it in Matthew 5:22. He said, "But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raca, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, Thou fool, shall be in danger of hell fire." Now the word hell here in the Greek is is actually the word Gehenna, which is the Hebrew equivalent of, the Greek equivalent of what used to be the Hebrew for the son of Hinnom, the Valley of Hinnom, Gehenna. And Jesus referred to that and likened it unto the lake of fire that burns, where the worm dieth not and the fire is not quenched. The dump ground of old Jerusalem was the Valley of Gehenna, smelly place. It was a picture of hell. I'm thankful that one of these days, like Enoch, I'm going to be able to partake of the tree of life and not be judged in the valley of Gehenna. I'm J.R. Church. We'll see you again tomorrow with our analysis of the news.